Hi, welcome in Wizarding Wands and Mickey Here's. We are live tonight and we have so much to talk about. It's so exciting. That is why we're all wearing ears tonight because we'll try to get through introductions before we launch into some huge Walt Disney World news. More than we were certainly previewing last week, which was exciting. We've been hoping for these days to talk about some things, but before we jump into all of that, I'm Catherine, this is Christy, Jennifer is sharing out our links as well. So thank you for being here, watching with us live or watching us back later, maybe listening to us while you're in your car, like I think we all are with our children really often.
All the time, right?
Especially Jennifer, who has a child trying to get some hours finished. We're trying.
Yeah. Well, you have to do what you gotta do. So she's.
Yeah, so if you are new here or if you're a returner, thank you so much. And hit that thumbs up button, letting us know that you're here watching. Feel free to comment throughout with any questions or things you're excited about as well. We are all agents with Mickey Travels and Let's Adventure Travel. So we are planning all of your Disney and Universal destinations with free travel planning. So you get our combined expertise to have a magical adventure. So if you're not part of our Facebook group, Wizarding Wands and Mickey Ears, we'd love for you to make sure you're part of that. Share that out with your friends. We have an awesome YouTube channel and we're all over social media as well. So it's an exciting one tonight.
Trying to bring the breaking news, Wizarding Wands and Mickey Ears, but we're very much Mickey Ears tonight because it's all about the Disney World news.
Good point. We don't put these on all the time.
Sorry, I'm over here choking.
Yeah, I was not anticipating any huge news this week. I just felt like in my gut, I knew it was going to be last week in May. I knew we'd get all this updates last week in May. And yeah, so it's been a little crazy past few days. Wasn't ready for it, but
so much news. Much news. And so here we are live 3 weeks in a row. Comment on that. The fact that we could line up our schedules 3 Tuesdays in a row is almost like somebody should play the lottery.
But it won't happen next week because next week I'm in Disney World.
Right. Very exciting.
Yeah, so I'll do everything I can from Disney World. We'll see. So I might be doing more recording than live streaming, but it really just all depends on what's happening, in the parks and how much I can get done in that time, because there's a bunch that I'm looking to do to bring to everyone. But yeah, so huge news. Disney World 2024 packages are going to go on sale soon.
Yeah,
so crazy. So May 31st, I was sure they were going to push it into June like they did last year. And I think the year before, it was earlier in June also. But obviously we have this huge trip coming up in June. And I was like, oh my gosh, what if they push it another week? I was getting a little concerned that it was going to be a little too close to our trip for the initial madness kind of thing. So I for sure am super thankful and grateful that they put it at the end of May.
I know. Well, I plan my travel. I try to plan part of my travel around when big Disney stuff is supposed to drop, because there's only so much that you can do when you're traveling, and these are important times. I thought, oh, good Lord, if it's next week, I'm gonna be really sad. I'll be spending a lot of time in my Boulder Ridge studio villa working on my computer.
Right.
But luckily, May 31st. So it gives us some time to, get details out and learn a little bit more about what's there. But, I don't know about you. I'm just antsy to know what's the pricing for everything that we're looking at. How comparable is it going to be to, what we've been seeing the past couple of years? But, not to get too far into, our announcements, but one of the biggies is that the dining plan is coming back. So I need to know what we're looking at.
I just wanted to post that, if you know, that's and so some of you watching might be like, okay, we haven't talked, but if you have been around or anything, and we can dive more into it, we'll kind of get through all that, but it's really big. We've been waiting since literally before the pandemic is when the last pre-pandemic was the last time dining plans
gosh.
existed, and we've been,
Right.
I think I gave up hope, quite honestly.
Yeah.
I know. Well, I almost did, but then they kept putting the snack credit logo on all of the festival booths. So Food and Wine Festival, Flower and Garden Festival, Festival of the Arts. I'm like, it's there. It's there in anticipation of the fact that it's coming back eventually. Those menus are new.
Right.
So it's not like they're repurposing something from last year. It's all reprinted.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was just very hopeful that they would come back, but now I'm very anxious to see what the pricing is, because the meal pricing has very definitely increased at Disney
For
World.
sure.
People were asking me, well, what was it before? I'm not even sharing that information because I don't think it's at all accurate to what it will be when it comes out. And maybe, I mean, I'd love to be proven wrong, but I think we'll see what that looks like when we get it. But I'm so excited. I love the dining plan. I mean, I know
We all do.
people are hot and cold. Some people love it. Some people are like, oh, I spend way too much money and I'm never doing that. But I'm never going to spend that much money when I'm there. And then they get there and they don't spend that much money, because that's just the way it goes. But I mean, for the most part, so many of my clients, but even myself personally, I love for my trip to feel more all-inclusive. Like just these days, I throw a whole pot of money in my savings and I buy a ton of Disney gift cards and I hope that it's enough, and then, but I don't want to have to worry about it when I'm there. I want to worry about having fun, and not about, why my kids are always ordering the most expensive thing on the menu everywhere we go. Why you always have to have a large soda that's $5.50 instead of getting a glass of water. I need the dining plan just so mom isn't like in her mind biting her tongue, but nickel and diming everything that we do.
Yeah.
No, I think
I think
that's
so many.
fair.
Yeah, I think so many people like that, paid for ahead of time, know that it's all covered, and can just go and enjoy their vacation. You need souvenir money if you're buying souvenirs. If you're not, then you're good to go. And I'm glad that they brought back. Personally, I think my personal two favorite plans, I think those are the ones that work the best for the majority of people that like the idea of a dining plan. And I think the people that typically either don't have somebody like us to explain it to you and how it can work the best to your best, or there are people who have that the old dining plans were better for, where they're like sit down meal 3 times a day kind of people, and that's way too much food.
Or lots of signature dining. I mean, I think we're all going into it assuming that the signature dining restaurants remain signature dining restaurants and be 2 table service credits and things like that. So there's a lot that we don't know. I think we're just, still assuming this, but it worked before. So we'll see. But with the 2 dining plans, to take a step back, we get the quick service plan, which is 2 quick service meals and 1 snack per person per night of your stay. And then a resort refillable mug per person, ages 3+. And then the Disney dining plan, which is 1 table service restaurant or 1 table service meal, 1 quick service meal, and 1 snack per person per night of your stay. And then again, that resort refillable mug. So there used to be another dining plan that was 3 any meal, table service or quick service. And that one really only was worth the value if you were doing a lot of table service dining. And part of me, I mean, my personal speculation is, well, of course, because I still don't, I mean, we don't have all of our restaurants back yet. And pretty much we're still not totally up to capacity yet, in the parks. And so as far as the restaurants go. And so I think that part of this is also, managing those expectations that I don't know if they could meet the 3 table service dining plan, expectation right now with what's available. So I guess we'll see, but I never got that one anyhow. So, so I don't need that.
I think I eat a lot when I'm there to begin with, but those were just a lot of food. So yeah, really, unless you were those, people who do signature dining, every single night, character meal every single morning for breakfast, like I'd have to walk twice as much. And that's a lot already.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but I mean, I'm so excited for that. So it's not coming back until January 9th, 2024. So we still have to wait. I caught myself today daydreaming about like all the future trips I've got this year. And I'm like, oh, we can have the dining. No, wait, not this year. Because we've got a split stay. And so the nice thing about a split stay is sometimes you can have the dining plan for, you know, the first part of your stay, but not the second part, just or vice versa, depending on what you're going to do. And so my brain already was doing that dining plan math. I'm like, oh, slow your roll, Jennifer. We have to wait until 2024. And then I'm like, Princess Half Marathon. Perfect.
Right.
And I noticed that they picked that January 9th date to get through marathon weekend. So I know a couple of people were like, oh, like, I'm just going to miss it. And I was like, oops, I should have to plan a second trip. No, I mean, but catch it for marathon weekend, you know, the next year. Hopefully.
It makes sense though. I feel like there's so much going on and then it slows down a lot, you know, right after a marathon in January. And so I think that it makes a lot of sense to keep everything going like normal until that January 9th. And then that's a good time to phase in the new. So I think that makes sense. I mean, it would have been nice if it was January 1st, but that's such a messy time as far as holiday planning and everything else. So
well, we've been there, you know, because we're there at Christmas so often, and we've been there a couple of years before COVID, like over the new year. And when something would change from the dining plan, you know, in one year to the next year, and then all of a sudden it's January 1st and things are changing. And so it's like, wait, we just had that yesterday, you know, kind of thing. So I do agree that, you know, plus most people's kids are back in school by that second week, you know, too. So it probably does make sense. Just a bummer for those people checking in the first 8 days.
I know.
Right. So it's not starting until January 9th, but it does not mean we can't add a starting at the end. And that also means, as we talk a lot about the deposit that's required for a Disney vacation and giving you more time. And maybe we have clients that we've planned trips for them in the past few years that did not use the dining plan and then are planning another trip. So we'll be thinking about that as well. We're here to kind of answer those questions and guide you. And does it make sense for your family or your travel party and what you're doing? I mean, I feel like 9.9 out of 10 times it is. Like it's, I don't know of anyone that's like, oh shoot, we used it. You know, we shouldn't have gotten it.
Right.
I cannot underline the fact enough that you are there and, you know, nearly everything's been taken care of. Like Jennifer's talking about, like, and I'm that person, like I'll stand there and be like, oh, I should get this. You just don't have to worry about it and you paid for it.
Right.
So anything extra. And so that really does make a difference. If you've been pricing things, perhaps, and then you're going to see and then you're going to add the price, it's going to be really different just because that's adding a number of meals, but you're getting a lot out of that. We can help you we can't wait to start talking about how to take advantage of that and things like that. And then to have the lead time if you're thinking about a 2024 trip, to really be getting those detailed. We were chatting today and already brainstorming for some clients and how we can best help them. So we have a lot of you on our list already, but if you're thinking about that, you can reach out to any of us or through www.meadventures@gmail.com or on any of our platforms. And again, we'd love to help you do that. Obviously, we're still planning things for 2023. We have to say that too, but you know, a lot of people who've been, you know, plan a year out or thinking about that next spring break. I can't believe, again, we're already almost to mid-May. So to be thinking ahead is never too early. We'll tell you that.
I know it. Well, and that, I mean, it's funny. It's so funny right now because I've got a whole slew of people who are looking at 2024. And then, you know, I got another email today saying, we're still thinking about May 24th. And I had to like change my mind around. I just had to think. I'm like, oh yeah, they want, you know, 23. Let's talk 23 because there's still a lot that's available this summer, an incredible amount of discounts that are open. I've been looking at the 4th of July week a ton. I don't think it's going to happen because of other things, but like that 4th of July week is wide open.
The 4th of July. Craig and I are going to be there. Like, come on. We have no vacations together this year.
Maybe I'll go alone. No, one of my daughters already said, nope, not doing the 4th of July week. I'm like, what about just Monday to Thursday? What about Monday to Thursday? It's just a few days, pop down, see the fireworks.
I'm going to message him. and be like, what are you thinking? Stop it. Come on.
I know. But I mean,
Yeah, there's some great, there are some great deals over the 4th of July. Like, we've been there many a time over 4th of July because it's exactly a week after our wedding anniversary. And I cannot believe how great the deals are for this summer. Like, I had somebody this afternoon that said they sent me their information and it said June 5th. And my brain, like you said, instantly went to 2024. And I was like, wait, hold on. You mean like in a month? And they were like, yeah. I was like, all right, then, so they're getting a great deal. Like, they thought they wanted a moderate, and for, their budget normally, that probably would be a moderate. Maybe, one of the normal price lower deluxes, but instead they're staying at the beach club. So winner.
Wow, you found a discount at the beach club?
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
amazing.
That's
I've seen them, we've seen them for the Polynesian this summer as well. I mean, it's
right.
crazy.
Right. I've seen a lot of contemporary Grand Floridian, Animal Kingdom Lodge, for sure. And then lots of Wilderness Lodge and Copper Creek villas and Boulder Ridge villas. I mean, things that we're just not normally seeing. And those are normally just a studio villas, sometimes 1-bedrooms. The larger accommodations, for the most part, those do sell out really far in advance. If you're looking for club level, if you're looking for like 2-bedrooms or 3-bedroom grand villas or things like that, those are still really hard to come by. I've seen a little bit of club level here or there, not seeing a whole lot of 2-bedroom villas anywhere for any dates over the summer, and 3 bedrooms are gone.
Mhm.
3
Yeah.
bedrooms are gone before
Right.
they even start. But yeah, just even standard hotel rooms, there's plenty, and dining.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to say it, but I'm getting complacent, because unless it's something that we know has like 8 tables, like those
Right.
thinking dessert party dinners at Epcot, which, I mean, you have to have a 14-day stay to be able to get
Mhm.
those, because there are literally no tables and no large tables at all. But otherwise, everything is wide open. Space 220, wide open. I mean, I had a client who had her choice of lunches and dinners all day long, 2 or 3 days into her trip. I was shocked. I've never seen that before. Never.
Yeah.
Choose. Wide open for breakfasts and lunches. I haven't looked for dinners because usually, folks have younger kids, but breakfasts and lunches, well, within 60 days.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So, I mean, princess dining, Cinderella's royal table, you can get that, on your 60-day, no problem. I mean, you might not get 6 p.m. or whatever, but you can get, breakfast, lunch, or late dinner. What?
They got us a late breakfast. It's like it was like 10:45, right? Because that's when they stop. It's 10:45, I think. Yeah, and I got it for us like the middle of the day, the next day after we could book it, and I was like, "That's crazy." So I told Craig, I'm like, "Hey, we're eating there," and he's like, "I didn't think that was on the list." I was like, "Well, it got added."
It was there, so
I talked to our
Right.
travel agent, and she took care of it.
there you
That's
go.
right.
I know it's
That's
just
how we can help. Yep.
this summer is an anomaly, though, and this is not going to happen next year. Not
Yeah.
with dining plans back, not with what we know of who's been waiting for 2024 and what that's looking like. So I think this is just a really nice, sweet time for us to sit back and enjoy having all the availability we want, because that'll change. And it's so funny because this is Disney World. This is not cruise line at all. Cruise line
Right.
is packed. So if you're looking at Disney Cruise Line, we're a totally different story. So I think that, there's been a shift or something where once upon a time, Disney World summer was busy. And if
Yeah.
you're operating under that assumption and thinking, oh, I'm going to go over fall break, it'll be slow. It hasn't been slow in like a decade.
Fair.
So
Yeah.
that's one of the busiest times of the year. Summer has been incredibly slow. So
Yeah.
next week, I'm so excited.
And I think
Yeah,
we
I
saw that shift,
Mhm.
honestly, since the pandemic too. I mean, I think it was slowly shifting. And then I
Right.
think it truly was people saying, life is short. I'm going to just pull my kids I don't care. Some schools have those longer breaks too, but we are really, and when I started doing this, gosh, it'll be almost 12 years. I mean, you could tell me when you wanted to go and you could really gauge it more. And it's just not the case anymore. So to see that flip that summer is so much more open, which again, that was not how it was. And I would say too, if you are flexible on dates, if you're saying, okay, we're thinking here, 4 weekends or something like that,
Right.
that helps us too. Like we can really dig into that, because I know a lot of people find us once they are saying, okay, I just read about this promotion, or I'm hearing about dining. I don't even know what that means, or I started looking and I didn't even know where I was looking. We know.
Right.
So that's when to come to us. And that's a lot of times we're going to ask you all those questions and just say, what are you thinking? Some people say, this is the weekend. Yeah. This is it. It has to be in this time frame. Some here. Okay, then we're going to check for you. We're going to find you the best options as well. That's what we pride ourselves on too. So it's not just, oh, we're going to find the first thing and call it good. And we always have some tricky times too, where, a lot of us are working with larger groups or larger families and what people want. So yeah.
Well, and everybody in the family wants something different, and finding
Yes.
work for the whole family is hard sometimes. Yeah.
I had a fantastic family of 10 that said they may never go on another family vacation without me, because we're the middle person, right? We're the neutral. We don't have a skin in the game. We're just giving you the facts. And they needed that. And they said, so they just traveled last month, and they were like, that's the best vacation that we've had. Like, we may never travel without you again. So I was like, score. But I think they were really like that complex. It was just different personalities, and people wanted different things. And sometimes that's hard to communicate to your family, but it's easier to communicate to somebody who, does this all of the time, kind of thing. So, I mean, like, what a great compliment. But it's true. Like, people have different expectations, and sometimes it's hard to figure that out as a larger group.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and you're right. I mean, we know the ins and outs of everything. So the nuance, we've been there, we've done it. So we can say, this is what it looks like. This is what you might be reading in different places. Here's really what you can expect from, not somebody who's trying to convince you that, I'm right, like everybody else on the internet is right now. And social media, most of the people there are trying to convince you that they made the right decision and what they decided is the best trip that you can possibly take. And who knows? I mean, that's different for every person. So our job is to get a gauge for what you are looking for and help you find, what that is. So to provide those facts and all of that information so that you can make the best decision. Some of those pieces of information I think we really need to dig into for 2024 are all the refurbs that are coming, because a couple of huge pool refurbishments are happening at the beginning of 2024 at the moderate resorts. So, I was digging into the information because I want to be completely prepared for sending everybody quotes on May 31st. And I had read this, I couldn't believe it when I read it, and it's really true. So January through April, the feature pools at 2 moderate resorts at Port Orleans French Quarter and Caribbean Beach Resort are going to be under refurbishment. Right now, I mean, they're saying from January through April. That's a big deal.
That's crazy long.
Major refurbishment, not just
other moderate resorts. Yeah, I mean, Caribbean Beach is huge. They have several quiet pools, so it's not like you're not going to have a pool, but they only have one pool with a pool slide.
Right.
So that's kind of tough. Everyone at French Quarter, if they want, a larger pool experience, they can head on over to Port Orleans Riverside. So at least they have, something in that property. But to me, that's going to be a game changer for those moderates. They're going to book up so fast at Riverside and at Coronado Springs because they'll have their pools open.
Right.
No, and those are things that we know. Like, I had another family that I was talking with last week, and they haven't gone since right before COVID. And she said, we've never used a travel planner before, but like, looking at all the things that have changed, we're like, gosh, what don't we know? If we're just seeing, the big things, what else has changed that we're not aware of, and it is especially when we're talking about Disney World and ever changing location. And that's what we help you with, is to know, hey, the main pool is going to be down while, you know, during the dates of your trip. Like, you might be okay with the quiet pool. Maybe that's your preference anyway, but to at least know that, instead of all of a sudden rolling up and you're like, oh, the main pool is closed for the whole time that we're here.
Right. I know. I don't know. I think it's absurd that 2 moderate resorts have
They
the
told
beach
us
pools
last year,
at the
like,
same
they never
time.
give us.
I know, but that's a bit much. So now my question is, are we gonna have 2 water parks open at that time? Because we only have 1 open right now. So I don't know.
Let's hope.
I don't know.
Can of worms, but and it's not that there, I mean, January can be cold. I mean, for me, it's too cold for a pool. Like 80 degrees though, for me is too cold for a pool. I can get a hot tub, but if it's
Mhm.
80 out, that's still kind of chilly to me because I'm a weirdo. I need it to be in the 90s before I'm comfortable in a
That's funny.
pool.
That's funny. So living where we have a pool in our backyard, I am very conscious of the temperature of the water. Like, I can be in our hot tub like year round. I'm good with the heat of it. But our pool, it could still be hot out, but if the water temperature is not hot, like warm, like no thank you. Like, don't do cool water. So it'll be July and I'll be like, oh, can we turn the heater on? And Craig's like, what? Are you kidding? Like, I know, but just like a couple of degrees warmer. And he's like, oh, it doesn't work like that.
That's
Okay,
funny.
we'll turn it on. She'll be okay. Then I can stand next to where the water comes in. And I'm like, oh, see, it's warmer here. So like ridiculous.
Funny.
But
Well, hey, that's the nice thing about Disney World over the summer is that it's never too cold for the
Yeah.
pool. So pretty much all times of the day.
true.
But yeah, I mean, people ask me all the time, how can you go to Disney World in August? We go in August almost every year, end of August. They're like, it's so hot. I live in Minnesota. I'm like, and it's not like 95 degrees and 100% humidity here too. Like, it's the same. If it's going to be unbearably warm, that's not unbearable to me, but it is, I think, to a lot of Northerners. But if it's going to be unbearably warm, I'd rather be unbearably warm at Disney World in
Yeah.
a pool than hanging out in, in Minnesota. Sorry, Minnesota.
And, we were talking last night that there are many ways to not be out in the heat of the day, or not out in the parks in the heat of the day. That's what you have a pool for. That's what you use early entry for, and then go back after dinner, all kinds of things. But those are just a couple of examples that then it isn't, that you're outside at 95 degree with 100% humidity, kind of thing. But again, living in that weather, I'm like, I'd rather be at Disney World in that heat.
Well, I always have a poncho and I always have a sweater, and so if I forget to pack a sweater, it's like, oh, I have to buy one down there, because you go into enough air conditioned spaces where you need a sweater. And then of course, if you get soaking wet and then you go into an air conditioned space,
You
it
really
can be a
notice
little
the air
uncomfortable. So you need the poncho, you need the sweater, and that, couple of pairs of shoes so you can alternate if your shoes get wet. But
Yeah.
it's a
You
great time.
really will not see me there in the summer.
No,
I'm fine owning that. Yeah, that's just not my.
that's so funny.
I grew up in Portland, Maine, with like 3 days of humidity a year, and I don't do where you guys live. Like even here in Ohio,
Right.
it's not my thing. So it would not be my first choice. Could I do it? Yes. And I have clients certainly that go all the time in the summer too. So it's just expectations. I mean, there's times of the year when it's a little rainier, or it might be cooler. And right, as we all know, with the climate it is, you just never know what you're going to get. I mean, this weather's been it could be a mild summer. I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
but we can help you kind of, and you are, and it is true. I mean, I tell clients, no matter what time of year you're going to want to take a break midday. and go back.
Yes.
Throw those kids in the pool, or take a nap, or just be doing nothing for a little while. So those are just good tips regardless.
Yeah.
And especially when you're thinking about rooms, we were chatting about a potential family planning too. It's not a typical vacation in the sense of, we're we're going to this hotel. This is what we always have. We always have this type of bed and we want this kind of connecting. It's a little different. It's still a vacation, but you are going to bed earlier than probably you would expect to.
Yeah.
Or you're just going to bed Disney tired. There's nothing like Disney tired.
Well, I mean, the weather, we were at Disneyland Paris. It was mostly in the mid 50s, maybe got up into the 60s. We needed a break in the middle of the day. I mean, there's only so much you can do when you are on your feet all day long. And if you're trying to catch the fireworks at night and hit the parks when they open in the morning, and their parks opened at 8:30, so it's not excessively early. I know Animal Kingdom Park will routinely open at, 7:30 over the summer at Disney World, which means that you're waiting for a bus, by like 6:15, 6:30. I mean, the buses will start running usually at 6:30 in the morning. And then if you're going to stick around and go to the fireworks at night and then take a bus home, that could easily be,
That's a long day.
11, 12, 1 o'clock in the morning, depending on, I mean, we've definitely done that before.
Yeah. I was gonna say, we used to do it all the time when they were little, but no more.
Right.
Yeah.
I know.
Now you say that 6 and I'm like, oh, yeah, no, thank you.
I know.
Not the way we Disney anymore. Thank goodness for that.
I love to rope drop.
I think it's smart. I think that's another thing that, again, those are those tips where even if you're not a morning person, it is so worth it to get there. It's kind of magical anyway, but to take advantage of maybe when there's other people not, you can kind of power through some things, then take a break if you need to, or go see a show or slow down. It's worth it. It really is. You are the queen of it though, Jennifer. I mean,
but I crash. I mean, if I don't take a nap, my body makes me take a nap,
that's true.
Because I like it's really hard to really like the mornings and really like the evenings. And you just can't keep going on 4 hours every day.
It's true.
You could try.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to miss a thing. And as many times as I've gone, I can't.
That's why you are so listen. All of this footage that everybody enjoys on our YouTube channel is because you're like, what if I miss this one thing? Right. And so
my family hates it too. No, that's why I'm excited to go on a solo trip too, because I feel like there are so many things that I need to accomplish and I like to accomplish on any given trip. And I can do a lot of that now. And then, and then I've got my Sherpas and my family with me in August to carry everything with them so that we can split it all up. And because they do, it doesn't matter what I get done on this trip. I'm still going to try to do the same amount.
See how many times you can ride Guardians.
That is the best ride out there. Speaking of Guardians, have you seen the new movie?
No, not yet.
Yet, it's the best. Like, okay, I have full disclosure. I wasn't a fan of the Guardians movies. I liked some of the characters. I liked some of the interplay. I didn't like the movies until this one. Like this one, it's good. It's really good. So go see it. Go see it in the theater. Especially if you've been on Cosmic Rewind, then you really have to go see it. Because there are just a few little nuggets in there. You're like, oh, I'm on Cosmic. Oh, wait.
Oh, fun. That's so fun.
Oh, yeah. But it's an excellent movie if you're into Marvel or Guardians at all. But if you, I don't know, there's so, like, I like the jokes in the Marvel movies, but some of them are just a little too dumb. Like, it's just too dumb. Like, sorry, Thor fans, but I struggle hard.
Same.
It's so dumb. Same. Some of the earlier Guardians movies, I'm like, this is painful. This one, I mean, it was cute. It was really well done. It was incredibly emotional. Go see it. Go see it.
Interesting.
Well, and just a little
more of a Guardians fan.
Yeah, I was gonna say a little pro tip. There is a movie theater at Disney Springs. So if you were visiting Walt Disney World and maybe the weather isn't cooperating, or talk about having a chance to sit in air conditioning, always go check out a movie there.
Yeah, there's a bowling alley too.
Yeah, there's kind of some different things that, just keep in your back pocket. You just never know if you might need that.
Yeah,
for sure. So some other exciting Walt Disney World news, because wait, That's not it. So next exciting thing, also starting with January 9th, moving forward, is for those people with date-specific tickets, you will no longer have to have park reservations.
That is a cheer right there.
Oh my
Yeah, I was
gosh.
like, where's my
I need a
confetti? That's
clapper. I need a- I
we will
know.
not, I feel like we've said that more than anything over the past 3 years. We've been doing these. We just feel like, please get them. So maybe break that down. Like, what does that mean, Christy?
Yeah, I posted it on my Facebook page today, and somebody was like, can you explain that? I was like, yes, I should have done a better job with that post. So date-specific tickets are tickets that come like with your package. Those are date specific because you are there specifically from this date to this date. So they are good in those dates, right? So that's date specific for that example. Also, if you buy your tickets separately through one of us right now, they are date specific. So they are set for this date to this date, and you have this many days to use in that amount of time. People who are not date specific are like me, annual pass holders. So my annual pass is the annual pass that is good for every single day of the year. And so I still have to make park reservations, except for what the heck, what are they calling it? Good to go dates?
Good to go days. Yeah, that's it.
Oh, I'm good to go. Not funny.
Though I wonder if they'll change that for annual pass holders who have resort reservations, or if the system isn't smart enough to differentiate that. So I think, well, there are lots of things that are yet to be seen, but yeah. So annual pass holders, cast numbers, and then if anyone is holding on to those old golden tickets, the unexpiring Disney World tickets, those Magic Your Way tickets that you used to be able to buy until what, like maybe 13 or 14.
Like
Those folks have to make park reservations too.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, if you're one of those people that are cleaning out mom and dad's old whatever, and then all of a sudden come across tickets that still have 2 days to be used. Why can't I be the, oh, I know, because my parents for sure used up every day of tickets that we had.
You weren't
those
leaving
would
with an
be-
extra day.
Hey, like, why can't I find, like, I've gone through all my parents' stuff. Why can't I find, like, although I found some really cool Disney stuff, but no tickets. So that's a bummer.
Right.
But those would be not for specific dates. So there's kind of breakdown. So if you have a package, those are date specific tickets, and that's the majority of people. And then the flip side of that would be annual pass holders.
But yeah, the vast majority of folks are not going to have to worry about park reservations. So if you're working with one of us to book your room and ticket package, you're golden as of January 9th, 2024 at Disney World. So taking another step back, I already had someone contact me about Disneyland. I'm like, nothing has come out about Disneyland. And I don't expect that to happen for a while. Normally, we don't know about what's happening for Disneyland for the following year until middle to late July. But, my speculation is if they make a change for Disneyland, they'll wait until after their race weekend too. So we'll see. I mean, because that's what, mid-January as well.
Second week.
That's just my guess. I mean, who knows? Maybe not. But
fingers crossed.
You'll be there.
I'm gonna be out there for that. So my fingers are crossed that they do it the same day. But I think you're right, Jen. But I for sure will be keeping an eye on it for my own personal use. But yeah, lots of people asking, what about Disneyland 2024? Not yet. Got a couple months to go.
What I wonder is, so they're going away with, park reservations, but will tickets ever be limited? Like, will they get to the point where, and I don't know, but popular times that were totally sold out. So between Christmas and New Year's, totally sold out every park every day. Are they ever going to get to the point you think where you wouldn't be able to buy a 5-day ticket because there aren't enough parks available? Or, I mean, the parks are pretty much full for those days, or they've, filled their allotment. I don't know. That's kind of, that's the first place my brain went. I'm like, okay, no park reservations for dated tickets, but are they ever going to, limit the number of tickets they're selling for a certain set of days?
That's a good thought. And I bet one we don't know until we get to those times
Until it
in
happens.
2024. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
But good thoughts, and ones that, another thing with us that we think of that until it happens, we're not going to know, but just to be safe.
But we're looking for it.
Right, right,
You know?
exactly.
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
again, to be thinking about if you know when you might want to travel, or especially it is during those busier times, getting that reservation locked in with your tickets. Again, that package is just makes so much sense in so many ways. So know that those shifts will be happening for 2024, and we'll get more information. This was a lot of announcements at one time. We used to joke that we'd always get news on Tuesdays. It's been a while. So, I mean, it was like they were just bottling it all up. And again, a lot of it were teasers. We know a little more as agents, but
Right.
yeah, there's still a lot to be determined as well. So
Right.
turn it all out.
I know. One of the things that I think most people probably aren't looking at, but I know that we're looking at, is the fact that they're changing the resort room categories for most of the deluxe resorts. And they're moving my cheese. Like, ever read that book, Who Moved My Cheese? Like, I know where all these rooms are located. I've been doing this for and I can tell you what you're going to be looking at if you book a standard view or whatever. So this whole resort view, water view, theme park view thing, I mean, I think it sounds like, after going through the training and stuff like that, that the resort view was formerly the standard view, which means you're looking at a parking lot. That's kind of what I'm guessing, looking at that, and then everyone else is water view. And then, I mean, you might get a few garden views or whatever out of that. And then water
Like
could be pool, could mean lake, could mean river, could mean whatever. Bodies of water, plural, are at those words.
And they did say that, like, for Animal Kingdom Lodge, there would still be like the Savannah views. So those that have those unique, views are still going to have them. So they're not getting rid of Savannah views.
Resort view or Savannah view.
Right.
But that's a standard, right? Yeah. So you're still going to get parking lot or Savannah.
Yeah. But just before we have our Animal Kingdom lovers going, wait, what about the Savannah view? Like, you're still going to have a Savannah view as an option, because I know it is one of my favorite.
Resort views just sounds nicer than standard.
Standard. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see where some of those rooms, what category they fall into, whether it's the resort view or, is it a theme park view? Because you can, if you look to the far right, you can see.
You lean out and look just far enough over.
Right. I'm not thinking like your view for the Eiffel Tower when you were in Paris, where you just had to stand on your balcony and be able to see the Eiffel Tower. Like, I'm thinking like you have to like lean and, off the balcony, which of course. I
didn't pay any more for that view, by the way, than people paid for a courtyard view. So it was just one of those we lucked out. And asked nicely and lucked out. But but we can always still put in requests. Anyone can put in a request. Requests aren't guaranteed, but the resorts do their best to assign rooms, based on those requests. So, but it's just kind of exhausting. My mind was not ready for this week. I had other things I was going to do and focus on, and other outreach, and that was wiped out.
Let alone on a Monday.
I know. I said it was a Tuesday, so that tells you. I'm so off.
Yeah, it was today. I thought it was Wednesday. So
there you go. So I was talking to you basically when I said it came out. It was a lot of news. For one day, but that's again really exciting. And again, if you have not enjoyed a dining plan, or maybe you're someone who isn't planning a trip this far out, maybe it might seem like okay, or I haven't traveled with a park pass. Like, what does it matter? We can tell you it does. And again, we'll dive more into dining plans as it gets closer and talk about them as we learn more and how they'll kind of pan out. But the one thing to know, I think, and that I believe is staying the same, it's your credits are active once you choose it. So I know when you're looking at it, sometimes people are like, oh, well, I really do, a sit down every day or something like that. You can mix and match. So there is a lot of flexibility. And like we know with our Disney clients, I mean, there is so much more when we're planning a vacation for these types of vacations than others. So that's why the dining plan is a smart decision just because of the way you can use it too. And maybe you're thinking, okay, I'm not even taking my kids. Why would I need a dining plan? Well, you will use that at the festivals.
Oh, yes. Yes, you
Yes,
will.
because we
Well,
did
yeah,
not
we're
at
happy
all
to
touch on.
demonstrate.
Oh, yeah. 3 snack credit, 1 quick service equals 3 snack credits, and you can just blow through those at 2 booths.
Also true.
Yes. I was gonna say, because we did, like you said, we didn't get
Yeah.
into what can be covered, and we will. And you will go, oh, for this adults only trip, I totally need that.
So smart.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, my
Well, we
brain
tried
is
to keep
doing
it to an
dining
hour.
plan.
Yeah.
And we're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are there other were there other updates this week? Let's see here. Oh my gosh. So the Disney Magic, did we talk about this? The Disney
Well, that
Magic
was
cruise
since last
ship.
week.
I know.
I'm so
This was
excited.
just so exciting to me. So Disney Magic was in dry dock for 3 weeks, 5 weeks, something like that. The only thing
5
that they had announced was that they were going to change some of the rooms that were previously not club level rooms and to completely upgrade them into club level rooms. What ended up coming out, excuse me, I've got like cat hair on me all of a sudden. What ended up, once the ship was finally back and sailing, is that they completely expanded the whole club level outdoor area. So that was just in addition to creating those new club level rooms and completely refurbishing all of the club level rooms, there's all this extra new seating, outdoor, indoor, club level on the Disney Magic, but then also there's a new Encanto celebration with Mirabelle, with Bruno. And so I'm so excited to hear more about what that looks like. And then the Promenade Lounge, if you are familiar with the Disney Magic at all, the Promenade Lounge is right outside of where the Rapunzel's Royal Table dining room is, and that has completely been switched over to the Soul Cat Club. Soul Cat Club, which is the theming from the movie Soul. So I love that movie. I think it's fantastic. It's got the jazzy feel to it. And it's so funny to me because I love the Magic. And the Promenade Lounge was the only space on the ship where I thought this feels really dated. It just with the paneling, the light wood paneling and just the furniture or whatever. I just, every time I was there, I was like, oh, they just need to refurbish this space and the ship is perfect. And then that was announced. I was like, I need to get back on Magic.
So I, of course, have been watching vlogs, other people's vlogs about the Magic because it is the next in my lineup. So it is my ship for 2024. And I watched one that these people were on the same cruise as actually some of my clients. And they had been talking with cast members, and cast members had told them it was rumored that such and such was coming. They didn't give them like a whole bunch of specifics, but just were saying that that some jazz music was going to be coming and that some theming was going to be coming to that space. And I was like, oh, like that just like piqued my interest. And so when the announcement was made, I was like, oh, it just sounds so cool. Like I cannot wait. That's next year. Like I need to focus on this year. But yeah, so I'm sure that we will maybe be doing that cruise now.
It's a wonderful ship. I'm so excited for that update. I was like looking at the pictures because they didn't originally say when it was announced exactly where the space was. And I mean, it was the only one I could imagine, but I couldn't even see like the old space in the new space. Like they did such a nice job with the upholstery, with the, the faux brick on the walls, the coloring. I mean, it's a completely different space. It's gorgeous. So yeah, just a nice big change there. And I think what the only or another major piece of news is that the 2024 Adventures by Disney vacations can be booked starting today, I think, is when folks who have traveled with Adventures by Disney before are able to book their trips for 2024. So if you're looking for worldwide travel with Disney storytelling, Disney quality, and front of the line access, that's Adventures by Disney. So, and I'll be able to tell you a little bit more about exactly what that looks like in Southern California. in just a
We're
few
excited to
months.
go along on your trip, that is for sure. So I mean, and of course, Disney Cruise Line can be booked through September, right? September
Right, yeah.
2024. So for those people that are more like us and or are saving for a bigger trip, like lots of 2024 either already there or coming or not too far in the distant future.
I know it. I'm the person who's always looking for both. So, I mean, I save for the long-term stuff because then if I can plan that far out and I, get it all paid for far in advance, I've got enough money left over for a quick last minute trip, like the 4th of July. No, maybe not.
Yes.
But don't be surprised if it
Come on.
happens. No, it's a lot of fun. There's just so much to do. And I mean, there's never enough time and, never enough money to do all of the different things you want to do. And I think we all completely understand that. So, I really appreciate working with the families who are like doing their one big extravaganza. I don't even know what that is anymore because I could never be that person. I need to take as many trips as I can in a year. If I'm not on a plane, at least every other month, but every month is preferable. That
You
I'm
live in the
not.
snowy tundra.
Yeah, and I'm nomadic at heart. Like I can't sit still. But I just sometimes I covet, like if I spent on one trip what we spent an entire year on all of our trips, maybe I need to do that one year just to see what it would be like. Because there are just so many incredible things happening out there, with Adventures by Disney, but even, with Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, hopefully I keep waiting I thought for sure we'd know what was going on with the new Disney treasure cruise ship before we heard about Disney World 2024. So this is really, I mean, to me, this is really surprising. Like I've been prepared for this for months and still nothing.
I feel like it's gonna be this summer sometime. Like,
you think it'll be a little while
yeah,
still?
well, I mean, like watching, so I've seen some pictures of the parts of the treasure being brought together, right? And I'm like, I don't know, like just thinking back to the Wish, I guess, because the others are too far in the past to really, well, one for me to remember, that's for sure. So thinking about it, I'm like, I don't know, like I think we're not looking like at a year. I don't know. I could be wrong. So I don't want to project. Plus, I don't want to push it out at all. Like I'm excited for it to come too, but I don't know.
I need them to start sailing in June so that I'm not on the first one. This is why I can get on like the 3rd or the 4th. No, who knows?
I'll keep putting positive vibes out there for you, Jen, but
I know. I wonder if they're waiting because of the fact that they had to push back the maiden voyage date for the Wish, but also, I mean, there were lots of COVID things that were happening when the Wish was being built. And so hopefully they've learned those lessons. They know what that staffing is. They know what the timing is a little bit better. And will be able to be prepared when they finally have the maiden voyage for the treasure. But
plus with Disney's new private island, Lighthouse Point opening, I'm not sure what the right word is for that.
Yeah.
Anyway, next summer, like I feel like those aren't going to be on top of each other, but what do I know? And I could be wrong because I have been a million times in my life and probably will be a million times after this, but originally I really thought they were going to like coincide maybe, but I don't know. Guess it depends on where she ends up sailing too. There's so many questions to go with the treasure.
I know there's still so much great news out there, but we're at just about an hour, so we should probably wrap it up. And still, I mean, would be remiss if we didn't, mention Universal, because Universal has their new ticket offer. So it's buy 2 days, get 3 days free. So it's a 5-day ticket for the cost of 2 days. When you wrap in the water park in there, I mean, you're obviously going to start with a 2-park ticket because there's no reason not to do a 2-park ticket to begin with. But, 2-park park to park, and then you add the water park in there. What you would pay for 2 days, you get 5 days. of ticket usage. So that's a great trip because you're going to Volcano Bay.
Yeah.
Got
Especially in the
Universal
summer.
Studios, you've got Islands of Adventure, and you're going to Volcano Bay. And summer in Florida, goes through the end of October, really.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you've got nice, hot water park weather at least through the end of October. So awesome
Well,
ticket.
even in November when we were there, before that little hurricane came through, it was hot in Florida. Like I remember standing in line waiting for Phantasmic, for 90 minutes before we could go sit down.
Right.
And I was like, oh, good thing I got an alcoholic cold beverage, because it was hot. And I also decided I needed to wear a Spirit jersey that night for some dumb reason. But anyway,
It wasn't that week.
yeah,
it was so hot. Yeah,
it was
that's
hot
right.
and humid. Yeah, I mean, for wine and dine, like, yeah, it was hot and humid. So it's Florida, what you're gonna get, especially in some of those odd months. But especially in our trip, you didn't know what you were gonna get.
Oh my gosh.
Hurricane in November, yeah. So yeah, absolutely. You need to have 3 parks so you can do Volcano Bay. But what a deal! You buy 2 days, get 3 free. Like,
right.
it's awesome. And it goes through like into December, right? The tickets are, I think, for dates into December.
December, right? Yeah. Not for 2024 though. I did check
Right.
that.
Right.
So, because I've got folks booked. So we can already book Universal 2024. So I checked on 2024. It's not good into 2024. So it's just this year, but still.
It seems like it's up until the week before Christmas, like maybe the 17th
and that's
or
pretty,
something like that.
That's pretty standard. Yeah.
Because I think that's when we check in at Disney is the 16th or 17th, one or the other. Anyway, so they're not, it's not that late, but still that's a really good chunk of time. And, even if you're only going to use 3 days of them, you're still getting that 3rd day for free. So
Right.
like, I love free.
Well, because I mean, most people think, oh, I don't really want to go to a park on my arrival day, and I'm not going to want to go on my departure day. But then you get there at like 11, maybe you've got an early flight and you're there. Yeah. And then you're like, I'm here.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah. Because you got 3 days for free.
Right. So you can do that with Universal, but that's a reason at Disney too, to just add on that. I mean, if you've got a 4 or 5 day ticket, right now it's what, maybe $25 to add on day 6, maybe $15 more to add on day 7. Like, just add that day because you're going to want to pop into the parks. I mean, as much as I think it's really nice to spend time at your resort, you're not going to want to do that the first day you get there. You'll want to do that when you're a little bit tired in the middle of your trip, but that first day you're ready to go. So, make sure that you've got that park admission so you can go and, just get a feel for things and get a lay of the land if it's your first trip, and see the fireworks if it's not your first trip, or the castle or Spaceship Earth, or go ride Guardians or whatever. I mean, there are a million things that you can do if you're even just popping to the park for a few hours at Disney or at Universal for your arrival day. So, well, gosh, so that was a lot of news this evening. This is so much fun.
1 week. That was a lot of news for just from a week ago.
And that isn't even all of it. Those are just the big pieces. Yeah. Announced yesterday. So, well, thank you so much for all of you who are watching now, or, if you're watching in the future, please feel free to leave a comment, ask a question, come on over and see us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Join our Wizarding Wands and Mickey Ears Facebook group, where we share quite a bit, a lot more discussion in that than just the Facebook page. But yeah, thanks so much for joining us. Hope that you found this to be enlightening, or at least fun to hang out with us for a little bit. And if you're ever looking to get in contact, you can also send an email, wwmeadventures@gmail.com. And until next time, enjoy the journey. Have a great night.